Welcome to our Spotlight series on the K-12 Service Learning Standards for Quality Practice. In this video, we'll be focusing on Link to Curriculum. Before we start, this video is brought to you by the National Youth Leadership Council. For 30 years, the National Youth Leadership Council has transformed classrooms, empowered teachers, and captivated students by leading the way in providing high-quality, dynamic service learning content to school districts, classrooms, and out-of-school youth programs, and everything in between. NYLC provides programs and services that develop young leaders, support educators, and advance the field of service learning through programs, professional development, and the National Service Learning Conference. Service learning is an approach to teaching and learning in which students use academic knowledge and skills to address genuine community needs. As an example, picking up trash on the riverbank is service, studying water samples under a microscope is learning, and when science students collect and analyze water samples, document their findings at a local pollution control agency, that is service learning. In 2008, the service learning field released evidence-based standards and accompanied indicators that K-12 practitioners can use to ensure high-quality service learning practice. For decades, those involved in service learning have known that quality matters if service learning is to live up to its promise of helping young people grow in academics and civic engagement. Now educators have a set of standards and indicators to guide them in improving their practice. In this video, we are focusing on one of the 8 K-12 service learning standards for quality practice, Link to Curriculum. The standard states service learning is intentionally used as an instructional strategy to meet learning goals and/or content standards. While this definition gives us a broad overview of the standard, we will use the indicators for Link to Curriculum, which encompasses the body of research behind the standards, to understand what Link to Curriculum really looks like in practice. The first indicator for Link to Curriculum states that quality service learning has clearly articulated goals. Understanding by design developers Wiggins and McTighe note, educators who have clear expectations for student learning are better equipped to help students learn. And this indicator is true whether you are using service learning or not. Unfortunately, we see a lot of educators try to tie the activities they have planned back to what is required for the student to master versus beginning with those goals and objectives from the very beginning. Quickly defined, service learning can be misconstrued for doing service and then learning from it. While we as humans learn from everything we do in our day-to-day lives, in service learning, the learning is intentional, and those goals must be defined before the students begin on the project. In this diagram, you see the need to know in the middle and the nice to know around the outside. Students may pick up on unintentional lessons and values along the way that better them as people or as learners. While we see those opportunities as wonderful and enriching, we as educators must ensure that students are mastering the need to know in order to be successful students and citizens. The second indicator states that quality service learning is aligned with academic and/or programmatic curriculum. Service learning should not be an add-on. Service learning is one of the many methods that an educator could use within their classroom to teach their curriculum. If you're not a formal K-12 educator, your goals may not be related to science, math, or other core subjects, but possibly leadership development, civic knowledge, habits of mind, or character development. In any way, service learning must be aligned with your curriculum. We at NYLC suggest an adaptation of the Grant Wiggins and J. McTighe Understanding by Design model. We encourage educators to first identify your desired results. So when students and participants are done with service learning activities, they master specific skills and knowledge. In the next step, educators determine how students will show and prove mastery of the new knowledge and skills through formative and summative assessments. In the third step, educators begin lessons and programming based around the IPARD cycle of investigation, planning and preparation, action, reflection, and demonstration. Activities within the cycle are based on step 1 and 2 of this process. In the last step, we recommend that teachers assess the unit or project and use evaluations from step 2 in the K-12 Service Learning Standards for Quality Practice to determine future changes or adaptations to increase the quality of instruction. The third indicator states that quality service learning helps participants learn how to transfer knowledge and skills from one setting to another. Quoting a literature review by Billig and Northrop in 2008 on the Link to Curriculum standard, they cited, researchers from the National Research Council synthesized studies on how students learn. They found that knowledge taught in a single context is less likely to support flexible ability to apply knowledge. That knowledge is gained in multiple contexts. With multiple contexts, students are more likely to abstract the relevant features of concepts and develop a more flexible representation of knowledge. The last indicator for the Link to Curriculum standard states that quality service learning is recognized in school board policies and student records. Educators are constantly feeling the pull and push between different initiatives and education reforms. When districts and schools formally recognize service learning, it encourages educators to use the methodology. For more information on the K-12 Service Learning Standards for Quality Practice and to see these standards in action through video, we encourage you to investigate the multimedia learning tool LIFT at lift.nylc.org. We also welcome you to join a free network of over 3,000 youth and adults engaged in service learning by visiting the Generator School Network. Within the site, you can learn, plan, and connect related to a broad set of service learning related topics.